Okay, so now we're back. We're going to talk about other things that you're going to need. This is a monofilament double-face tape, and it comes on a roll. And I'm going to show you how to open these, because if you open them wrong, you're toast. But this stuff is just, you really can't see it. It's just, let me see if I can grab hold of it. It's a see-through filament tape. It's not a tape, so it's really sheer. And if you mess it up, you have to cut it off and start over. But when you start the roll, you have to make sure that you leave the paper backing on the top. They make guns for these, but I've never bought one. You also need a little utility knife. You can buy these at the dollar store. And they're cool because you can take pliers and break them off where the lines are. So that's kind of nice. You have multiple blades that you just break off with a pair of pliers. This is a cute little tool, and what it does is it trims your paper to 1/4 of an inch. You just lay it up against the side and run it down, and it will cut your paper, and that way you don't have to mess with doing that. And then here's some brown paper. You can buy this at the Dollar Tree for $1 a roll. I've just cut off a piece that will fit this so that I have a big enough piece. Now, the next thing that you're going to do after you do this is you're going to put this tape out. Now, they make fancy guns for it, but, you know, it's just one more thing I got to load. So I just use a utility knife and spread it out, push it down, and make sure that your filament tape is sticking to the back of the paper, because sometimes it gets a little funky on the edges and it doesn't want to pull off like this one. See, this got a little funky on the edge. So if it does that, you may have to go back and put an additional piece on to get your paper to stick all the way to the edge. And I've got it stuck to me. Works really good. Takes an act of God to get it off your hand. Okay, so now we're going to pull this and do another piece. I'm just going to run it down. And this piece over here we'll probably have to do a second piece for. The Tollway has this online. And I think it's about $4.50 a roll, but don't quote me on that. We also have this handy little tool online. And all you do with these is just grab an edge. One edge will come off easier than the other. You just have to kind of play with it to find out which edge it is. And all you're going to do is pull all these edges off. And then I generally look at it to see if there's a section that isn't covered well. So right here I'm missing a piece right at both corners. So I'm just going to spread another piece across the top of that, because I want to make sure I had good coverage so my paper will stick. And then I just use my little X-Acto knife, utility knife, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, don't cut yourself. And then, okay. Then just push it down and peel it off. Now I usually go around the edge, and if it goes over the edge, I kind of do that, and that just kind of pushes it back up on the edge. Now the next thing you're going to do is make sure that your piece of paper you cut is big enough. And I usually spread it out from the bottom and hold it up so it doesn't touch. And then I start at the top and run down, because you can get really massive wrinkles in this paper when you put it down. And then all I'm going to do is crease it around the edges. And then where this piece is way longer at the bottom, I'm just going to cut it off. And I'll use that for a 5x7 or a smaller piece that I've got to do. Okay, then all you do is you take this lovely little tool, and your finger goes underneath the edge of it. You place it along the side of your print or your shadow box, and you just push down and keep going all the way to the edge, and then you peel it away. And, oops, I missed the spot right there. Okay, this is much easier than trying to take a ruler and an X-Acto knife, because you'll make yourself crazy doing that. And it's a steady 1/4 inch. I think I need to change the blade in this one. And these take regular X-Acto knife blades, because if your blade starts to get dull, then it doesn't cut as well as it should. And we're pulling at some edges here. Okay, so what you're going to do is continue doing this and just peel it off. Oh, there's a little dip in my shadow box right there is what it is, which is causing it to be funky. Okay, so we're just going to peel, and this will peel off the additional tape at the same time, and it'll give you a nice clean edge to look at. Kind of like when you go to Michael's and pay them $55 to do this. And then I usually take and just tear it to catch that edge, and then just peel it back and away, and it usually pulls the tape with it. Oops. And then for the fourth edge, we're going to do this. Oops. Let's crease it. And then there's a little thing here that your finger goes under, and then you push against the box with that, and then just run it down. And then there's the last one. Look at that. Looks like we know what we're doing. We have a nice finished edge. There's a history of paper towel that I usually put on here. Okay, and I'll send you guys this. I usually cut these with a paper cutter, but my paper cutter's outside, so we're gonna fake it. And we'll see what we get. So normally what I do with this is turn it over and do the same thing with this, but for this I'll just use a pair of scissors. And I'll send you guys, I'll post a Word document with the history of paper towel on Google Classroom. And then you can print them out. It's 6 to a page, so. And then just kind of press it all around. And then pick a space to start. Oops. And then this one's overlapped a little bit, so. Wrong side. If you have something that hangs out over the edge, just push it back. And you'll notice one edge of this will come off much easier than the other one. I don't know whether it's because of how it's pressured when it's rolled on to the roll or not, but it always does that. So then just make sure that all of your exposed edges of tape are kind of folded under. And then make sure you have it right side up, because it ain't coming off. And then you just kind of eyeball it and go like that. And then you have the history of paper towel on the back. Now this one is ready to go in the frame at this point. So if you don't have your frame already, you can still close your art up. And that allows this to look like you had it done at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or somewhere. So we don't look like we're schmucks. If you want to take this to a craft show and sell your art, it's finished like a piece of art would be finished if you'd taken it down to have it done. And you can attach a business card. I usually put my business card down in the corner with the same tape. And my business card has my name, my email address, and my phone number. So that way if someone buys this and they want another piece, or they have a friend who wants to talk to you about when you're going to be in a show or when they can order something, that gives them the availability to contact you really easily if you put your business card on the back. Okay, so we're going to stop and then we'll show you how to put this in the frame.